You know that feeling, right? You put in a full 8-hour day, but when you look back, it feels like you only got about 3 hours of real work done. Well, this explainer is all about flipping that equation on its head. We're going to dive into a system for generating just a massive amount of output in a tiny fraction of the time.
So let's just start with the most important question you can ask yourself, especially if you're a knowledge worker. Are you actually being productive, or are you just busy? Seriously, the difference between those two things is the secret to everything we're about to get into.
I love this quote from our source material because it hits so close to home. We feel like we're working hard, but the truth is, our most valuable, meaningful work is usually buried under hours and hours of friction. You know, all those little distracting tasks that kill any real momentum.
And that brings us to our first big, kind of controversial idea, the 8-hour lie. We're about to challenge this fundamental belief we all have that productivity is somehow measured by the number of hours you're sitting at your desk.
This slide really lays it all out. It's like two different universes, isn't it? On the left, you've got the busy world, constantly switching tasks, checking emails, responding to Slack, sitting in meetings. And on the right, you have what actually moves the needle: deep, high-value, meaningful work. Our goal is to live on the right side of this screen.
So here's the absolute key to all of this. It's not about time. It is all about your neural state. This is the actual biological and chemical condition of your brain. The crazy part is, one single hour in a peak neural state can produce way more than an entire 8-hour day spent in a distracted, fragmented one.
Okay, so if it's all about our neural state, the next question is obvious, right? How in the world do we control it? Well, in this next section, we're going to get into how to literally hack your own brain chemistry to prime it for peak performance. Now, here is the fascinating science behind this. Your brain, it turns out, doesn't just stay focused for hours and hours. No way. It has this very specific, very powerful window. Only about 25 to 40 minutes of absolute peak activation in the prefrontal cortex. The entire system we're talking about is built to exploit this brief, powerful window.
And this is exactly how we get there. Before you even think about starting your work, you do this two-step ritual. First, 10 minutes of intense exercise, think sprints or burpees, to release something called BDNF, which literally helps your neurons fire faster. And second, a quick 2-minute blast of cold to spike your norepinephrine. This isn't just a warm-up, this is like strapping a rocket to your brain.
And get this, that quick blast of cold, it spikes your focus-sharpening norepinephrine by a jaw-dropping 530%. Let that sink in. You're not starting your workday at 70% capacity. You're launching into it at 150%. That's not motivation. That's biology.
All right, now for the main event, the Power Hour Protocol. These are the strict rules for creating what the source material calls extreme output density.
Rule number 1 is all about clarity. You have to choose one and only one specific high-value task. You have to ask yourself, what is the single most valuable thing I could possibly finish in the next hour? That's your target. Any vagueness here just completely destroys your focus before you even start.
Next, you have to build a fortress. Your phone isn't just on silent, it's gone. Put it in another room, maybe even in your car. Just one application, one browser tab, internet blockers on, headphones on. For the next 60 minutes, to the rest of the world, you just don't exist. This isn't being extreme, it's the bare minimum for true focus.
And you need a little bit of pressure. A visible 60-minute countdown timer right in front of your face. Why? Because this quote says it all. Constraint creates intensity. When your brain sees that clock ticking down, it kicks into high gear, just like it does the night before a big deadline.
So this is a super important distinction. The Power Hour is for doing, not for thinking. All of your planning, all your research, all your decision-making, that has to happen before the timer starts. During this hour, you are purely an execution machine, following a pre-made plan.
Okay, the stage is set. Your brain is primed. Your environment is locked down. Now, let's talk about the mindset you need inside that Power Hour. It's all about pure execution, not perfection.
This rule is a total game changer. Don't ease into the work. The second that timer starts, you go. You move fast, you type fast, you think fast. Your brain actually takes cues from your body. When you act with urgency, your brain thinks, oh, this must be important, and it floods you with the resources you need. Speed literally creates focus. And you have to force your brain to pick a lane. Your brain cannot create and critique at the same time, not at full capacity. The power hour is purely for creation mode. Your goal is just volume and forward momentum. Get it on the page, make it exist. The editing, the refining, making it perfect, that all comes later.
And here's the final brutal rule of execution. Absolutely no breaks, no getting water, no stretching, nothing. Every tiny interruption, even for just a few seconds, can completely shatter your flow state, and it can take minutes to get back into that zone. So handle all your physical needs before you start.
Okay, let's pull all this together. When you work this way, it fundamentally changes how you measure success. It's not about the hours you log anymore. It's all about the output you create.
I mean, just look at this chart. The math is kind of insane. One focused power hour can generate 3 times the valuable output of a typical scattered 8-hour day. If you do 2 of them, you're producing 6 times the value. You're not working harder, you're just working smarter by ruthlessly eliminating everything that isn't the actual work. But, and this is a huge but, this level of intensity has a cost. Recovery isn't optional, it is a mandatory part of the system. After that hour, your brain is toast. You need a 20-minute break with 0 stimulation. Like go for a walk, stare out a window to recharge. You can probably only do 2, maybe 3 of these sessions in a day. But honestly, that's more than enough.
And we'll end on this powerful idea because it's a complete paradigm shift. The work doesn't care about your effort or how long you sit in a chair. It only cares about what you create. So the real question to leave you with is this. What could you create if you stopped measuring your time and started measuring your output?